Hey there guys, it's me again, and I'm doing another one of these videos where I talk about the things that I learned during the production of my latest short film. For this video, I'm going to be talking about what I learned when I made Doses, which is my March short, so the most recent one that I put out. So I learned a couple things. I think the most important thing that I learned, not the most important, but the most poignant, is that I love lens flares. I love the effect that lens flares give. Not any of that J.J. Abrams post added in cross all over the screen bullcrap, but I like lens flares when they're achieved naturally and well. So yeah, I was looking through some of the shots that I filmed for this, particularly the shot in which the actor is walking, and it's in slow motion. Because I shot it at 60 frames, and he's walking in slow motion, and the sun, it was at like 4 o'clock, so the sun was just starting to set, and the sun has like all the string of lens flares everywhere, and in the scene, and it kind of rotates, and the actor walks at one point in between the sun and the camera, so it's kind of like he covers the sun and then the sun comes back out, and it was a really cool shot. And so I learned that I love lens flares, and in fact I got 3 new UV filters because I heard that is good for adding lens flare, and I was like, I love lens flare, I'll have more lens flare. So yeah. Another thing that I learned is to use color correction more dynamically, because for my previous shorts I would just sort of pick a scheme and then go with that scheme for the entirety of the short. But for this one, I specifically chose not to do that to see if I could do that, and it turned out pretty good. There were only, there were a couple shots at the end where I completely didn't touch the colors at all. There were also parts where I made the colors really saturated when he goes to use the drug, and then also really desaturated at other points. And so instead of using one color scheme and sticking with it, I picked 5 or 6 different ones, and using them correctly in an interesting way made for a better story, in my opinion. Another thing that I learned when filming this short is that when you're holding the camera and you're following some... Why am I doing this? When you're holding the camera and you're following somebody that's running, try to match their strides. And this worked out really well actually, because the actor that plays the jogger in this, him and I are almost exactly the same height. So literally every time my right foot hit the ground, his right foot hit the ground. He started and I followed, and I just matched his stride exactly. So we were pretty much exactly the same amount of time away from each other, and also I didn't have to edit out my footsteps or anything like that. So it just sounds like a footstep because my footstep was at the same time. Another thing that I learned is that if you show the same action 3 times from 3 different angles, but kind of like repetitively, then it can create a really unnerving or like stressful state, I guess. So specifically what I'm talking about is the part where he turns around, he's jogging, and then he turns around is shown from it's shown 3 different times from different angles, and it worked out for this. So it can definitely create suspense and stuff like that. So the 3 things that I learned: lens flare. 3. I just said like 5 things. The things that I learned: first, lens flares are great. Second, you have to use a lot of diversity when you're arranging colors, and it adds to the story. The colors add to the story. Match somebody's stride if you're following them with the camera. And showing something several times in a row can really create an air of suspense. As always, guys, be sure to leave stuff down in the comments. If you want to talk about something or discuss something of mine that you liked or that you hated, or if you have any ideas for future videos or something, I'll be sure to say, hey, thanks for the idea, and I'll message you and we can talk about it. I'm really just looking for however many ideas I can do. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.